Welcome one, welcome all to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Now, lovely to be in here with all of these beautiful people here this evening. You out there, I've never met most of you out watching the show out in TV land, but I'm guessing, like me, you're still trying to process yesterday's mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas. If you're heartbroken and if you're frustrated, you're not alone. Americans have witnessed gun tragedy after gun tragedy. And while it can be argued that there are many reasons, we all know the biggest reason for the tragedy is the gun. And right now, the United States has approximately 400 million firearms, which is more than 40% of the total guns in the entire world. That stat's even more harrowing considering that we have 100% of the world's Floridas. Now, there's a simple, if extremely difficult solution: reduce the number of guns. We've done it before, and it worked. And Joe Biden knows that.
When we passed the assault weapons ban, mass shootings went down. When the law expired, mass shootings tripled.
That's not complicated. If there's less of something that is built to kill people, fewer people will be killed with that thing. That's why these days you see so few mass catapult attacks. Now, there are things Congress could do right now. Congress just refuses to do them. For instance, the Senate could pass H.R. 8, a bill that was passed by the House over a year ago, which would close loopholes in the background checks law. It's being held up by Senate Republicans, possibly because background checks are supported by only 90% of voters. 90%. The only thing more popular than background checks is Dolly Parton riding a giant corgi bringing you free ice cream. And birthday sex with free ice cream. One man's frustration erupted on camera earlier today. Texas Governor Greg Abbott and his lieutenant governor held a press conference to discuss the shooting. About 15 minutes in, they were interrupted by Abbott's gubernatorial rival, Beto O'Rourke.
At this time, I will pass the mic to Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
Governor Abbott, I have to say something.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Sit down.
You're out of line and an embarrassment.
Sit down and don't play this stuff.
The next shooting is right now, and you are doing nothing.
That's not true, Beto. They're not doing nothing. They're yelling at you for pointing out that they're doing nothing. Now, some people, you maybe, you might call this a stunt, but all he's doing is calling bull on their lie. The lie that they will do anything that might upset the gun lobby that lines their pockets. Another liar on that stage getting yelled at by Beto was Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. He went on the Fox News last night and pinched out this gem.
We can't stop bad people from doing bad things. They're going to violate murder laws. They're not going to follow gun laws. I've never understood that argument.
I gotta say, laws are pointless is a bold position for the Attorney General. I think he just announced the purge, but perhaps the nothingest nothing that was ever nothinged came from Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, seen here with her loved one and her husband. Shortly after the shooting, Greene tweeted, "Our nation needs to take a serious look at the state of mental health today." I agree, starting with Georgia's 14th district. Now, it's not fair to say Republicans have absolutely no solutions. They actually have some pretty bad solutions, like this one.
One of the things you've talked about is arming teachers. Is that a possibility in Texas?
I absolutely think it's a possibility. I think that's something that should be done.
Come on. A teacher's job is not to use a gun. A teacher's job is to teach and to rap about Shakespeare. I'm Mr. Smith, and I'm here to say Caesar got stabbed et tu, Brute? It's not just the teachers who these cowardly dipsticks think should be armed.
These are individuals who are unpaid volunteers who would be happy to volunteer their time to go safeguard schools.
To me, it's a simple solution. We have retired military, retired law enforcement that I am sure we can come up with a way to ensure that every child in every school is protected with on-site armed trained officers.
There is no reason why we can't put retired police officers, ex-military, and put them at least in every school.
Yes, that is their brilliant answer to our epidemic of gun violence. Arm the seniors. They shouldn't be hard to find. They're all members of the AAR-15. But more guns aren't the only terrible solutions Republicans are offering up. Here's former NYPD Detective Pat Brosnan on Hannity last night.
We need to install man traps, a series of interlocking doors at the school entrance that are triggered by a tripwire. The tripwire can be a gunshot, broken glass, a manual switch tossed by a school employee, and it traps the shooter like a rat. It's tripwires, it's man traps.
Yes, it's tripwires, it's man traps. It's stairs covered in tiny toy cars. It's crushed up Christmas ornaments on the floor. It's hot irons on pulleys that swing and hit the bad guys in the face. It's cardboard cutouts dancing in front of the windows. I saw it all in that documentary with Joe Pesci. Of course, if our elected leaders won't do anything about gun violence, we're obviously going to need to elect new leaders. And that process is already underway with the midterm primaries. Last night, there were some big results, including Georgia Democrats making their pick for governor, Stacey Abrams. Abrams of course, is famous for her years of grassroots organizing in Georgia, around the country, and most recently, in the United Federation of Planets. She's fighting for voting rights for everyone, no matter how many forehead bulges your skull has. Last night wasn't just... Sure, we got some Ferengi fans around here. Last night wasn't just about winners. It was really about rubbing it in the face of one giant loser, former President the Wrath of Khan. Because in the GOP primary, he went all in on former Senator David Perdue. Despite a full jowled endorsement from the ex-prez, Perdue got his ass handed to him by incumbent governor and beef jerky on Zoloft, Brian Kemp. And it wasn't even close. Kemp peach-stomped Perdue by over 50 points. This was a total embarrassment for the ex-prez, even more so because the candidate who destroyed his guy was Mike Pence's pick. Oh, you know Pence celebrated with his trademark victory dance. Avert your eyes, mother. I am clenching to the rhythm. But that wasn't the end of his losing, because the ex-prez picked losers up and down the ballot. For example, the former prez picked a candidate to take down his old nemesis, Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, seen here being less interesting than an out-of-focus bell. Raffensperger famously pushed back when the dingus-in-chief called him during the 2020 election, demanding he find enough votes to overturn his loss in Georgia. Well, last night, Raffensperger absolutely creamed the ex-president's guy, beating him by 20 points. Good news, Mr. President. Good news, he finally found those votes. Now, the ex-prez didn't lay a total goose egg last night. He got one win in the Georgia Senate primary thanks to candidate Herschel Walker. Walker has to try to fine line between holding on to the ex-president's endorsement and not getting any of the stop the steal crazy on him, as you can see in this interview.
One of the things that certainly motivated President Trump in giving endorsements to various candidates has been whether or not they accept his claim that the election was stolen. Do you think the election was stolen?
Well, I don't think. I think reporters say that. I don't know whether President Trump has said it, because he never said that to me. I'm not arguing with
he
you.
says it over and
No,
over
he
again,
made
please.
no. He has never. I've never heard President Trump ever say that.
Now, technically, come on, technically, he's right. I've never heard him say it. I've only heard him scream it, tweet it, and one time fart it in Morse code. We got a great show for you tonight. My guests are Michael Che and Admiral James Stavridis.